Time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer
That broadcast school has really paid off.
and Christian Peck-Dimit.
Do you want to keep this job? Shut up, listen, learn.
The region's only local sports talk show, discussing it all from the preps to the pros.
What time is it?
Simulcasting on AM 730 Fox Sports Tri-State, streaming online at nwksradio.net and the Rockingham app.
They are everywhere.
The Blitz is presented by the Insurance Agency, the Farmers State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
This ball's hit pretty well to left, but playable. And this should do it. Jan's under, puts it away, and Kansas comes in and wins game one of the Phillips 66 Big 12 Championship.
Fastball hit high in the air, deep to left center field, way back and gone! Second home run of the game for Bobby Witt Jr. He's tied his career high with 6 RBIs.
Tatum trying to get free. Throwing in the corner. Brown fakes, fires up the 3. Bang! Bang! Jaylen Brown knocks down the 3 to tie the game.
And he belts it deep left field. Ross back, yes! Gone! A walk-off winner for Connor Heiser.
Next pitch is hit well again to left field. Going back is Rooker to the track. This one's gone. Hammered a changeup to left center field. Same area as he hit the one back in the 5th inning. A 2-home run ball game for Ezekiel Tovar. Rockies take a 4-2 lead.
Hey, good Wednesday morning. It is the Morning Blitz on 102.5 URock, AM 730 Fox Sports Tri-State. Of course, also online, nwksradio.net, the Rockingham app, and video streaming going on live currently at NWKS Radio on Facebook, YouTube, and at NWKS Sports on Twitter. How you doing this morning, Christian? I'd say if this wasn't for this head cold, I'd be in a great space right now. Or allergy cold. I don't even know what I want to call this thing. It's weird.
If it wasn't for this bullet wound, I'd be doing just fine. Yeah, if it wasn't for all the bad things.
It's not that bad. I'm not going to say I'm wounded, but
if it wasn't for all the bad things in my life, life would be good. The list
is very short for me. The list is short on the bad things. I'm not saying it's, but you know, you know when you're not at 100%, and it's just so you're just kind of making your way through the day and hoping that things are going to get better. And so last night, like I said, I've been dealing with a head cold, been dealing with some other things as well, and so just kind of been doing that kind of stuff. And I just didn't sleep great last night, kind of because of it. So like I said, I'm just kind of here. I'm going to make my way through the show today, and hopefully things will get better and we'll be ready to rock and roll. I'm hopefully, you know, I've got some plans with some family here this week, and I really don't want to be under the weather for that. So, like I said, would love to kind of get this pushed through and beyond. Move on.
Fair enough. Honestly, that was this weekend. I wasn't feeling so great, and I'm sort of getting back into the groove of it now. Played some pickup basketball last night, and I didn't. I
wondered because I saw some cars parked. I was in Colby last night for a little family thing, and we drove by the event center, and I saw a few cars parked out there, including Hunter Vaughn. So your car was not there when I drove by, so you must have given up earlier.
No, unless you drove by at like 9:30 after I left. Ends at 9, and I think they stayed a little bit later. I didn't run particularly, harder than normal or play more intense than usual, but I'm hurting more than normal this morning. I can tell you that much. I feel a little bit old, but the left Achilles is hurting, which should maybe raise a red flag. My back makes me feel like any back pain at all just makes you feel like an old man. But Lord put breath in the lungs this morning, so we can't complain too much, right?
No, I don't have anything to really complain about it. Like I said, if I was feeling 100%, I'd be better, but I'm probably around 85, 90% here this morning. But we got a full show ahead today, as we usually do for the next hour. Jake Stout's going to join us live in studio, Goodland High School track and field coach. In fact, I saw that he's already here. He's waiting out in the lobby. He's so excited to talk to us. He got here extra early. We'll have him coming up here in about 15 minutes or so to talk a little track and field. for us here coming up. So look forward to having him on. Will we with Jake Stout? So look forward to having him come on the program and talk with us for a little bit. Also, today we will get into the NBA and the Eastern Conference Finals. A very interesting game one, to say the least. That was certainly interesting. The Rockies lose late despite leading most of the game, and the Royals crush the Tigers for the second consecutive night. We'll get to all that coming up here in the program, but want to get to state golf right off the bat, because state golf championships across the state wrapped up yesterday, and Christian was talking to me before the show. He's like, I can't find the right results because they're not correct. Yeah, the results online currently, at least the results that I see, are not correct. So anyway, I was lucky enough to write down the results, I believe, when they were correct, like right after they got done. And so anyway, I wrote down the results, and here were the final results for state golf yesterday. There were 11 area golfers, and there were 6 of the 11 area golfers that were left competing on day 2. And there were 11 area golfers left competing. 6 of them were able to place and finish inside the top 20. So you have to place inside the top 20, and you have to finish as a top 3. If you're a team, you have to finish inside the top 3 if you're going to get a medal or some hardware. So finish top 20 individually or top 3 as a team to get some hardware. And there were 6 individuals that brought home some hardware. Hoxie was the only team left standing. We talked about that yesterday, how they won the tiebreaker over Hill City. They ended up finishing in 5th place, so they did not get a trophy. But they did have an individual place in top 20 in Noah Dowell. He came in 5th to lead Hoxie. And then you had Easton Fink had the best showing of anybody. Easton Fink placed 4th at the 2A tournament in Dodge City. Had a great showing there. He placed in 4th. Hill City's Dylan Buddig placed 17th just to make the cut to get a medal. And then at the 1A tournament, you had Jeb Castins of Rollins County. He came in 11th place. St. Francis's Jay Schmoll came in 13th. And Greeley County's Lincoln Schaefer placed 15th in this tournament. So if you want scores, so in 1A, Jeb Castins placed 11th, shot a 160 combined. This is a 2-day total score of 160. St. Francis's Jay or Jordan Schmoll shot a 162, placing 13th. And Greeley County's Lincoln Schaefer, 15th place, shooting a 166. Continuing in the 1A, Rollins County's Braxton Dixon, who made the cut, but finished 37th, shooting a 179. Oberlin's Gage Willoughby finished 36th. He shot a 178. And Wallace County's Keen Dinkle, he finished in 49th. He shot a 2-day total of 194. So once again, Jeb Castins, Jordan Schmoll, and Lincoln Schaefer were the 3 guys that's placed in 1A. In 2A, Hoxie, as said, finished 5th as a team. Noah Dowell led Hoxie 5th with a 2-day total of 153. Oakley's Easton Fink placed 4th overall, shooting a 153 over the 2 days. He had the best showing of any area golfer, did Easton Fink of Oakley. Hill City's Dylan Buddig placed 17th, shooting a 167 over the 2 days. And Noah Fry, who also made the cut for day 2 but did not place, he finished in 25th with a score of 172. That was all your 2A results. And then Barrett Slosher was the lone golfer left standing in 3A, as Colby did not make the cut and neither did any individual. But Barrett Slosher of Goodland made the cut, but he finished in 35th, had a rough second day, shot a 90 on day 2, I think after shooting an 81 on day 1. So it was a rough second day for him. And so he shoots a 2-day total of 171 and did not make the medals, did not able to get the top 20 to get a medal yesterday. So the golf courses, from what I could tell, it seemed to play a little bit more difficult the second day. I don't know what that was. I don't know if the wind was blowing more. It seemed like scores were a little bit higher on day 2 than they were on day 1, which is kind of interesting considering the fact that, you've played the course now a couple times with a practice round and the first round. And then you get the third time around the course and you feel like you know the course better, all that stuff. So something must have happened. Maybe the pin placement was different that made things more difficult. My guess is Mother Nature probably played a little bit of a difference. Yesterday probably was a little bit of wind. We'll see. Like I said, I wasn't in those spots, but I thought scores were just a little bit lower or a little bit higher than I guess I expected for it being kind of the third day that you're playing your golf tournament respected courses.
I was going to say, I thought that it was supposed to be a little windy in Emporia yesterday. My eyes also go not necessarily to an area golfer, but down in 1A. Gavin Wall of South Gray put 3 in the top 4 of the state in golf, which is crazy. But South Gray's Gavin Wall won it all in 1A individually. He is a sophomore. That is crazy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, golf is not one of those games where, I mean, you know this, obviously. It's not one of those games where you have to have the body of a Greek god to have success.
No, but you can, I mean, the fact that he just won the state and has another 2 years to get even better is pretty darn cool.
It's a great accomplishment. There's no doubt about it. I think golf is one of those sports where I think you do probably see a lot of kids that have great success. If they're really, really good, they have success early because they've been playing it what, since they were 3, maybe, out there with little sawed-off clubs, probably out there playing. So that's what I find to be a little bit interesting, I guess. But nonetheless, yeah, that's the case of yesterday in state golf. So great showings from, like I said, 6 of 11 area golfers left standing in day 2, placed at the state golf tournaments yesterday in the final day. And we only really have a couple more days of the high school sports season left. You know, tomorrow we will begin with state baseball and state softball. That'll continue on into Friday. And then Friday and Saturday, you've got state track and field. And after Saturday, it's all done here for the 23-24 season. So we're getting right down to the very end of this high school sports season. That's for sure. Getting right down to the very end.
I mean, it's one of those things, I think, where it takes long and it's stressful sort of day to day as it goes by. And then you look at the end and you're like, man, that was quick. You know, you sort of blinked and it was over. And it's just one of those things where, we're literally, 3 days away from no high school sports until August. And late August at that. So,
well, games, I guess there'll be practice starting up.
Games.
Practice starting up in August for sure. Nope, You're exactly right. The years, the days are long, but the years are short. That's kind of that's the great analogy that I keep hearing a lot when it comes to parenting, and it can apply to this situation as well. The days are long, but the years are short. You're listening to the Morning Blitz here on a Wednesday morning. 72 degrees expected to be the high today. A beautiful day. On the high plains. Chance of thunderstorms coming back again on Thursday. Guess who's on severe weather duty? This guy. So you'll be hearing me Thursday, I have a feeling. So if you want to be a part of the show, as always, hit us up on the text line, the number 785-899-2222. That's the number to be a part of the Morning Blitz every day here on this program. Let's move on I want to go to the NBA, actually. I want to talk a little bit about the Celtics and the Pacers last night. We can get to the Royals and the Rockies in the third segment, because honestly, it was kind of the same old. Royals win, which I know is hard to grasp, but they just keep winning, and the Rockies lose late because of bullpen issues, which kind of was a little bit different. Nonetheless, Celtics Pacers last night was a highly entertaining game. I was not watching this game, but I was kind of tracking it, and I kept kind of seeing, I kept kind of peeking over at a screen that it was on. I was like, look at the Pacers up by 5. Look at the Pacers. They're right in the mix of this thing. I thought the Celtics might blow them out. And the Pacers, unfortunately, kind of gave it away. And that's what they said. You know, turnovers costly. And, you know, and give credit, Jaylen Brown gets paid big-time money to make big-time shots, and he did that right to send into overtime.
Yeah, we're getting already texts from some Celtics fans saying last night's game has changed my mind, says Michael. Celtics in 6. I believe the same Michael said Celtics in 4 yesterday. So a big swing. I think I'm going to stick with my original season 5 prediction, partially only because that's what I originally said, and we stand on business here. I was surprised, certainly, at how long the Pacers hung with the Celtics. On the one hand, Indiana has been in closer games throughout these playoffs. They've had to get into dogfights with, granted, lower-tiered teams than the Celtics, but still they've had to step up and hit big shots against the Bucks, against the Knicks. And so you see guys who shined last night like Aaron Nesmith and Nembhard, who was just awesome. Andrew Nembhard, it felt like hit a ton of big shots like that, as did Neesmith, and neither of their box scores jump out at you. A total between the two of 26 points for Nembhard and Neesmith, but both of them were just dogs in clutch time, and that's sort of what you need. Is you have Siakam, you have Halliburton, who have a big-time two-man game, and they play great basketball, particularly together. 24, 12, and 7 assists for Siakam, 25, 10 assists, 3 boards, 3 steals for Halliburton. Both played quite well last night. Tyrese hit 6 threes as well. But the Pacers, to hang with a team the caliber of Boston, is going to need TJ McConnell off the bench to be 6 of 11. They're going to need the Neesmiths and the Nembhards to step up big time. And they did what they've done all playoffs, which is stay with teams in clutch time and deliver offensively. 37% from 3, 54% from the field. They can just shoot the lights out on a team. And yeah, Ross, you're exactly right. Turnovers were trouble, especially down the stretch of that game. 21 total compared to 14 by Boston. 21 objectively bad, but then also Boston committing only 14. And honestly, the Celtics were in danger. I mean, they were only really 2 made shots in this game away from singing a very different tune. Because despite that contested pump fake triple in the corner from Jaylen Brown, highly impressive, tied the game, sent it to OT. Really, the Celtics were fading down the stretch. Was with a couple of minutes left. I mean, it was 3-4 minutes left. They had a 5-point lead, and it sort of disappeared, and Tatum was sort of shying away in clutch time, and Derek White was missing chippies, and Al Horford was really bad, both sides of the ball in the fourth quarter. And then it's so quick and almost in the snap of a fingers that a narrative can change, because I was getting ready and I was tracking his stats to sing the tune of a Jason Tatum choke job last night. Not because he was particularly missing shots. I think he was 0 of 3 or 0 of 4 combined in the last few minutes of the game and then into overtime. He was shying away from the basketball. He wasn't being aggressive like they need him to be. He wasn't getting downhill. And he did have a couple of turnovers, as well as, of course, as I mentioned, those missed shots. But then, like I said, it can change so quickly the narrative of this game, as it can in so many sports games. I mean, literally, we are this close to talking about a massive Game 1 upset, and then it was until the final 40 seconds of overtime in this game. Tatum makes an and one, fits it up and in, counted in a foul, and then a moment later, up fake sidestep triple, hits that too. Back-to-back big shots from Tatum, essentially gave the Celtics the win in this game. And they sort of hung on by a shoestring, but that's all they need to do to get wins against this Pacer team that probably is not going to play as well as they did last night for the rest of this series. Ultimately, great fight from the Pacers. I think it's still Celtics in 5.
We'll see. Jason Tatum, future face of the league, plus 20 in the plus minus yesterday. Pretty good. I heard that again. I heard it on the radio. Just yesterday I was driving and someone talked about Jason Tatum. Is he going to be the future face of the league? I remember we've had that discussion on the show and you jumped down my throat about it. I'm like, I
didn't jump down your throat. I laughed.
You were just like
4 straight minutes.
You gave me that look. You gave me that look of,
yeah,
what?
I think I'd laughed for like a long time when you said that.
Anyway,
and I still laugh.
Plus 20 yesterday for him, which was huge.
He's
that was
great.
massive.
I'm not knocking him at all. He's not the face of the league, but he is a darn good player for the majority of last night. Showed it, and especially in clutch time. It took till the final minute, those final 40 seconds of OT, but he came up huge for a team that it felt like it needed someone to come up huge. No one was hitting shots outside of that desperation triple for the Celtics late in this game. Tatum stepped up.
Before we get to a break here real quickly, tonight, Western Conference Finals, Game 1, Mavericks and, of course, T-Wolves. You made your prediction. What did you say? Wolves and what?
I think I said Wolves in 6.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to 7. My one thing is I don't think that the Mavs have the size to hang with the T-Wolves. Few teams do. Minnesota has 3 7-footers, 2 of which can get buckets basically at an unstoppable clip in Naz Reid and Cat, and obviously Rudy Gobert is the defensive player of the year. That's a lot of size to handle for any team.
Do you consider I don't want to open up a whole can of worms. We got to get to Jake Stout coming up here, but do you consider, like, in both of these series, the Celtics, Pacers, and Mavericks and T-Wolves, do you consider, like, the Celtics and the Mavericks to be more teams that have higher star power than the other teams? Like, at least at this point in time?
What do you mean?
Well,
I mean,
my question would be, do you, like, when you get down to this point in the season, down to the Final Four is where I'm going to call it.
Yep.
Do you go with the team that looks more like a complete team, or more of the team that has more star power? Because as a guy who doesn't watch NBA that much, I would consider the Mavericks to have more star power, at least at this point in time, than the T-Wolves with Doncic and Kyrie Irving. And the Celtics I consider to have more star power with Tatum and Jaylen Brown and those guys. Whereas, the Pacers, they don't get me wrong, Pacers as well as the T-Wolves have stars. Not saying that they don't, but just not as big as stars. And I consider them to be more complete basketball teams, I guess, for this average NBA fan. So do you take the team or the stars? There?
We'll start in the Eastern Conference. I think the Celtics are just a better team, and it sort of stinks because they've created this super team such that they have both more star power and a more complete team than the Pacers. In the West, though, 2 things. One, I think that especially emerging this year, the T-Wolves do have stars. Ant Edwards is that guy. If you saw the number of Anthony Edwards edits and posts on social media that I've seen over the last 3 weeks, it would boggle your mind how much the NBA world loves this kid. And the second thing would be that the Mavs, I was sort of going to get to this point in a roundabout way anyways, the Mavs have a pretty complete team. You're absolutely right that they have the big names in Doncic and Kyrie, but that's been the big change this year, is that they have role players that step up. They have this more complete team that plays really good defense, that's so good, in fact, that Kyrie and Luka are engaged defensively. Both of them play defense. If you asked me that mid-season, I'd tell you those are 2 of the worst defensive guards in the league. Both have played very well. I think that it's tough when you have a playoffs, a Final Four that's left with this many stars, period. You called them the Final Four, right, Ross? The only time in the history of the NBA that each of the Final Four teams have an all-star 25 years old or younger. 2001, when it was Ray Allen on the Bucks, Iverson on the Sixers, Kobe on the Lakers, and Tim Duncan on the Spurs. The only other time in NBA history that has happened, 2001, and right now as we sit here, Luka Doncic, Ant Edwards, Jason Tatum, Tyrese Halliburton. We've got a lot of star power left. It's not the, we'll say, established stars that people are used to.
The up-and-coming stars.
Exactly right. It's the up-and-coming stars.
On the text line before we get to break, this is Larry, big basketball guy. Pacers gave it away in regulation. They had a 3-point lead with 10 seconds left. The Pacers inbound the ball on the sideline to a player cutting toward opponent's basket. He goes, that's a no-no. And then lost possession. Celtics then make a 3. Yeah, great points, Larry. Great points.
They turned it over. Those are big
turnovers cost them. As I said, right off the gate, turnovers have cost them. Okay, we got to get to a break. When we come back, Jake Stout's been waiting very patiently for a long time since he got here extra early. He will join us next in studio talking about Goodland Track and Field as they get set for the state track meet starting up on Friday and rolling into Saturday. That's next here on the Morning Blitz.
Sherry, what have you done to your hair?
What do you mean? Does it not look good?
It doesn't look good. It looks freaking amazing. I can't believe how thick and healthy it looks. Oh, I must know your secret.
No secret. It's hair volume from New Nordic.
Hair volume, huh? Well, it certainly lives up to its name. Your hair has never looked so thick. It is gorgeous.
I was so tired of having thin and brittle hair. Ugh, and the shedding. So I figured I'd give hair volume a try. Needless to say, I'm thrilled with the results. Hey, where are you going?
I'm going to pick up some hair volume right now. My reunion's next month and I want my hair to look as good as yours.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural health products from New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Scandinavia. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or your local Walgreens, Rite Aid, or CVS. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Help your hair look full, voluminous, and beautiful again at nordicUSA.com, Walgreens, Rite Aid, or CVS.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning. This is Kate Thompson with the Anderson Trade Group. Today is Wednesday, May 22nd. And on the overnight last night, July corn traded higher 1 3/4 at 4.59 3/4. September up 1 1/4 at 4.69 3/4. December up 1 1/4 at 4.83 1/2. March corn up 1 3/4 at 4.97. July soybeans unchanged on the overnight at 12.36 1/4. August up 1 at 12.35. September up 1 3/4 at 12.16 3/4. November up 1 3/4 at 12.14 3/4. Chicago wheat July contract higher 6 1/2 on the overnight at 7.04. September up 6 1/4 at 7.23 3/4. December up 4 1/4 at 7.44 1/4. And March soft wheat up 3 1/2 at 7.60. Kansas City wheat July contract higher 7 1/4 on the overnight at 7.08 3/4. September up 6 3/4 at 7.23. December up 5 1/2 at 7.42 1/2. And March hard wheat up 4 at 7.56 1/2. On the stock market today, the Dow down 68 at 39,938. The S&P down 7 at 5,337. The Nasdaq up 4 at 18,804. Gold lower $9.50 an ounce at 2,416. And crude oil down 81 cents a barrel at 77.85. If you have any questions about marketing grain or would like to talk about risk management options, give our Colorado office a call. John Hanke at 970-744-4484. Or in our Kansas City office, myself, Tom Saluto, Jared Law, or Tyler Dosch at 913-748-3000.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
There are a lot of inconsistencies when growing soybeans. The soil, the weather, the market. You need something you can count on, like Revitech fungicide from BASF. It consistently outyields other fungicides by up to 9.5 bushels per acre, consistently wins in on-farm head-to-head comparisons, and consistently makes for happy farmers. Revitech fungicide. Visit revxfields.com for full results. Always read and follow label directions. Yield data based on summary of 2019 through 2022 RevX field scale demonstration trials.
At Case IH, we know you work hard all year to maximize your yield at harvest. And to do that, you need a combine that works as hard as you do. That's why we built the new AF11 with more horsepower, more efficiency, and more capacity than any other combine out there. Plus, built-in automation to harvest more easily than ever before. To do more with every engine hour, you need equipment that's as good as you are. You need the best in your field. Visit your local Case IH dealer for more on the AF11.
Don't want to be tied down by a wireless contract? Get the service you deserve with NextTech Wireless Advance Pay. There's no contracts and no credit checks. Plus, you can get unlimited talk and text with 22 gigabytes of high-speed data for only $25 a month. Make the switch now and get a device on us. NextTech Wireless. Home on the range.
Hey, it's Brian Haney, the voice of the Jayhawks, and you're listening to my main man, Ross Volkmer. He may be a Husker, but he also knows how to rock chalk. And you're listening to the Morning Blitz right here on 102.5 You Rock.
20 minutes to the top of the hour on a Wednesday. Glad you're with us here on May the 22nd. Once again, sunny and 72, the high, currently 47, as we get your day rolling here on this Wednesday morning. Our guest of the day has been waiting extremely patiently because he was here extra early, but I've learned out why that happened as head coach of Goodland Track and Field, Jake Stout, joins us. I mean, he's been telling me that this is the funny story of the whole deal. So this is a big week, of course, for him, but his kids are not even in the household. They're on a cruise. And he said, well, your kids get to go on a cruise before you do. Boy, that's a sad deal, Coach. I really feel bad for you.
I know. It's heartbreaking, right?
It is. I tell you, that's a tough deal. I feel bad for you that you're on a cruise. Their kids are on a cruise and you're here still working. But it's actually a busy couple of days coming up for you. We were talking about that. Kind of go through that story. It all starts kind of today with how busy your schedule gets all the way through Saturday.
Yeah, today we got state send-off at the Max at 12:15. After that, Chayton Goodwin's dad, Dave, original pioneer. You can find him on YouTube. He's going to do videos and pictures of the team. He did a great job last year. And then I'm heading to Wichita early, so I can try to get a team camp for us on Thursday.
That is just, we were talking about the team camp deal, and that I did not know this, but the coach has to go. Has it always been where you have to go a day early? Or is that the first or second year they've been doing this now?
Well, they've always allowed teams to kind of walk the track at like 3:30, 4 o'clock. You can take the team, you can walk it. But to get coaches can get in at 3, but the order at which coaches get in is done at 9:30. So you got to get there at 9:30 to draw a number, and then you get to come back at 3 to get in based off that order. And so this year with the construction going on at Cessna, kind of got to get there early. Hopefully we can get a decent team camp where we can see the track and actually watch while kids can rest and hang out in the shade.
There you go. So yeah, how important is it to get a good spot for the camp?
Not extremely important. It's more of just if we get a team camp where we can't watch, we're going to be pretty dang bored. And then you're just tempted to go sit out in the sun and watch. And then you're just wasting energy if you're out there doing that. So it's more for coaches so we can actually sit there and enjoy the track meet. The athletes are going to be hanging out in the shade, whether they like it or not. Just keep them fresh and ready.
Jake Stout joining us here on the Morning Blitz, talking Goodland Track and Field. Regionals, are in the books. What was your overall thought on regionals as you've had almost a week to think about it here?
It was tough, to be honest.
You knew that going in, though.
We knew that going in. And it's kind of funny. You can bring up kind of the results of regionals and look at which regionals have kind of the highest seeds and stuff like that. And our Beloit regional kind of, I think in the boys, it was top 4 out of top 4 kids and out of the top 6 in like 9 events. It was a bit crazy. And then that Fredonia regional, they had a lot of bottom guys and girls, but it was a tough regionals. I feel like I got in everybody I could get in as far as qualifying for state, except for a couple relays. But it was still fun. We competed well.
Overall, I thought it was a pretty darn good showing. You had Jacelyn Gable qualifying the 800. Jackson Mitchek made it in the 400 on the girls' side. I tell you what, Jackson Mitchek, I said I think it helps cement her as maybe one of the better athletes that GHS girls has ever seen, with all the different sports that she's played throughout her career and the success that she has had. And now to qualify in the state track meet in her lone year of doing track, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, she's kind of, she's been in the shadow of those girls that graduated last year, of the Telexa Weeder and the Lehmans and Lindsay Cure. So she's been under them. So a lot of attention has been put on her. And this year she kind of got to shine. Qualifying for state in 3 events, volleyball, basketball, and now track, is absolutely spectacular and shows what kind of athlete she is.
It was a really good day for Chayton Goodwin, too. I think we knew that he was going to be good, but when you're the fastest guy in the 100-meter dash in that regional, that's saying something.
It is. Great day for him. That's the fastest we've seen him run. Qualified in the 400, which is the event we were actually kind of most concerned about if he could or not. Ran an outstanding race. In fact, he probably ran a little too hard, because then when it came time to qualify in the 200, he had nothing left. But I wouldn't be surprised next year he comes back and qualifies in all 3.
He really has had a great, we knew he was a good track athlete. He'd done it a lot through his youth, but he really has stepped up his performance here this year.
Yeah, he broke a lot of junior high records for me, 7th and 8th grade. And then as a freshman last year, he had some hip issues. Ran the first meet and then ran the last meet and qualified in the 200. Didn't do too much, but as a freshman sprinting at state, I really don't expect much. You got a 14-year-old competing against 18-year-olds. It's going to be difficult for those boys. And then this year, he's really been healthy the entire season. And he trained weights off season, and he's just done a great job.
We're joined once again by Jake Stout in studio, a head Goodland track and field coach. Noah Chanette making it in the long jump was a good showing for him.
Yeah, we've been bouncing back and forth with Noah between long and triple. He qualified in triple jump last year. And then we kind of looked at our regional Beloit and went, triple jump's not looking very likely, but your long jump's looking great. So then we threw into that. Let's commit to long jump. He helped the team a lot out with some running as well. We almost put together a 4x1 that was close to qualifying. He was a good run on that. But yeah, jumping a long jump. He didn't jump particularly well at regionals, just enough to qualify. So if he can rip off his PR or better at state, he has a really good chance of bringing home a medal.
And we'll save Lincoln Cure for last. I think he had 26 points, pretty close to that of the 50 that the boys got in the regionals there. Of course, winning the 300s, which breaking his own record, right, with almost a 39 flat in the 300. And then in the 110s, he was there as well, qualified in the 100. No, sorry, in the 200, and then missed on the 100 just by a little bit there. I got to ask what happened to 100 because he won the prelims pretty handily and then came up a little bit short when it mattered the most.
Yeah, he actually ran the fastest 100 of the entire day, and he's not going to state in it. Simple fact, it was the turnaround. So the 110 hurdles runs, he wins that handedly, but he had to run because 4 of the other best hurdlers in the state were also in our same regional. So he had to run pretty hard. And then right after that is the girls' 100-meter dash and then the boys' 100-meter dash. So he had about a 2.5-minute turnaround between the 110 hurdles and the 100-meter dash and got 5th, one place away from qualifying. At state, it's going to be dragged out significantly longer because you go 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A. So he would have had a lot longer break at state. So he was a bit grumpy about it, say the least. But hopefully, when he gets grumpy, he gets a little hungry in his other races, and I think he took it out in the 300 hurdles, ran outstanding there. And then it was actually, he was pretty tired running the 200 dash at the end. He was pretty exhausted. I think he finished 3rd in the race. He easily wins that race if he's not so dang tired.
That brings up an interesting point. Most of the season, it's one and done type of deal. There's not prelims to an extent. Some, I guess meets do have some prelims, but most meets are kind of just ran off on the timing deal. And then you get to regionals, then you have the preliminaries and the finals. What are your thoughts? Do you like the way it is with the preliminaries and the finals, kind of old school, quote unquote? Or do you like the keeping kids fresh when they, you go out there, you got one race, you got to give it your all?
I like prelims. I always tell kids it's 2 shots to run a PR. It's not just one. There is a downside whenever you do have kids like Chayton Goodwin and Lincoln that are running the 100 prelims, the 110 hurdles prelims, the 200 prelims. So he's ran 3 races, and those are just to get in the finals. So it does affect them long run. That comes down to obviously training and conditioning a little bit, just be able to perform out after prelims.
What has this week been like getting done with regionals through the weekend? And then how do you go about practice, things like that? How does this all work with the kids that qualified for state?
After qualifying, we really had to sit down and say, we are not doing anything over the weekend. We need you guys to rest. And then Monday and yesterday, we went really hard at practice. And now we're going to taper off, get them relaxed, get them healthy. Just get those last minute things of getting the minds right and saying, you're fine, you look great, here's where you're at, and just getting ready.
And the send-off is today, correct?
12:15. Yep.
There you go. At the Max Jones, I'm assuming. That's where they'll have the send-off at 12:15 for the track and field athletes. And I don't know, I mean, overall, when you look back, and I know it's not over yet, we still have the state meet to go, but to this point, how do you feel like this season has gone overall for you?
Girls side league champions. I was pretty pumped about that. It was very close with Colby. 1 point.
A point.
Yeah. Needless to say, I looked at my phone at the end of that meet, and I had walked 12 miles. So I'm a bit of a pacer when I get nervous.
Wow.
So I don't think I sat down that entire day. So really, anytime you win a league championship, you get to put that year up on the banner and the max. We're really pumped about it. Boys side, I mean, Lincoln's broken multiple school records. Chayton's running great. We've had PRs across the kids at, I said, Cato Romero, high jump and running 400s. He PR'd. All my throwers found a new PR. So that's one great thing about track. Even if they don't make state, they're not successful, kids can still look at where they were at the beginning of the year, where they're at the end of the year, and they can see their improvement.
Coach, I know you got a very busy couple of days ahead, so thank you for squeezing us in here this morning. Appreciate it. Good luck and safe travels down to Wichita.
Thanks for having me.
Once again, that's Jake Stout here in studio, Goodland High School track and field coach. Let's take a break. Come back. We'll wrap up the show next with some baseball. You're listening to the Morning Blitz here on a Wednesday.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery ingestion and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
Phones nowadays can do practically anything, including feed you.
And now they cannot.
Well, that is if you download the McDonald's app. Use the McDonald's app to get deals on the food you love, including McCafes, soft drinks, fries, and so much more. Plus, keep up to date on what's trending at McDonald's with the latest promotions, events, new products, and specials. You can even order and pay from the app. So download it today and score from your local McDonald's at Burlington, Colby, Goodland, and Lamar.
It's graduation time for many high school and college students. Make sure your student is ready to hit the road for life's next adventure with a new or pre-owned vehicle from Vince's GM Center in Burlington. Vince's large selection offers something for every driver and every budget. And with their access to multiple lenders for all credit types, the team at Vince's will make sure to make the purchasing process easy and efficient. Shop their entire selection and get pre-approved to purchase at vincesgmcenter.com. Congratulations, graduates, from Vince's GM Center, where they've been selling cars for years and making friends for life.
Hey, it's Brian Haney, the voice of the Jayhawks. A two-hand follow jam is true for Josh Jackson. You're listening to the Morning Blitz with our main man, Ross Volkmer, right here on 102.5. You rock.
Wrap up a show on a Wednesday morning. Glad you're with us on the Morning Blitz. How much college? Did you watch any college baseball yesterday, Christian Peck-Dimit? Did you happen to tune in for any of that at all?
I watched zero college baseball yesterday, though I will say it is the plan to watch some this week. We just we were busy standing in the corner waiting for passes yesterday.
For what?
Basketball. Pick up basketball.
Sorry. That's what you're talking about. I thought you were talking like passes to a show or something like that. What are you talking about? But
it's a slow morning for us.
I watched plenty of college baseball yesterday. The SEC tournament, the ACC tournament, the Big 12. I watched Kansas take down Kansas State in that 6-7 game on a sacrifice fly in the top of the ninth, which drove in the eventual winning run for KU. And so the Jayhawks get a day off today while K-State's back at it again early this morning. In fact, starting up here in about 5 minutes, they'll be getting first pitch underway against West Virginia in an elimination game. But a lot of great college baseball, some fun games, including a walk-off winner late last night in the SEC. And then there was my Nebraska Cornhuskers who just didn't decide, who showed just not to show up to the ballpark in the first round yesterday as the 2 seed. They got spanked by the 7 seed 15-2. decided not to show up and play. So I have a feeling that Nebraska, because they know they're in the postseason tournament, they're like, it's almost like as if, we don't need to win this. We're going to be in the tournament and we're going to trade that, which
ahead.
That's the only excuse that I will accept, because that was pitiful last night, to say the very least. Absolutely pitiful.
Huskers got caught looking ahead.
Tons more college baseball on the docket for the entire week. It's really a lot of fun. Well, really enjoyed watching that yesterday, and going to watch a lot more today. The Royals win again last night. What a game for Bobby Witt Jr. My goodness, did he have a day. 6 ribbies last night for Bobby Witt Jr. And a 468 tanker. 468-foot tanker out into left center field. Just absolutely crushed it. They asked him after the game, what was I? Well, I came off the bat and I thought it felt pretty good.
It was okay. It's all right, I guess.
Oh, my goodness. That was the Bobby Witt show. Also, Mikhail Garcia went 4 for 5 with 3 runs scored. He had a good day, too. Everything's just going right for the Royals right now. They're in the midst of it. Everything's just going right. Offense is clicking. Pitching has been just as good as, I think, is about as solid as it's been most of the season. Alec Marsh is 4-1. They've pretty much won every single of his games that he started, except for one of them. Obviously, he was good last night with 5 hits and 3 runs in 6 innings. Just a really, I don't know. The Royals just look great right now. But the funny thing about it is that the Royals keep winning, yet they're still a game and a half back of the Guardians. The Guardians just keeping them at an arm's length away. That's what they do. I find that to be so funny. I'm like, well, geez, the Royals have got to be near the top or a half game back. Nope, still a game and a half. Guardians keep winning.
And the Guardians were supposed to be what? Like the second worst team in this division, and this is not a great division, or at least wasn't on paper supposed to be, but here comes Cleveland, man. I hate, again, that they're beating the tar out of the Tigers, who, again, got just an awful start from their starter and then never really recovered at all. I think it does sort of fly under the radar that Mr. Garcia had yet another phenomenal game, 4 hits, a ribby that you mentioned. In the bullpen, came in, did great. We've been a little bit quick to jump on them when they're playing poorly. Just 1 hit in the 3 innings thrown by the bullpen. And yeah, Marsh, just another win. He keeps on running. 5 Ks last night.
Very good win last night. Royals go for a sweep of the Tigers here. But boy, what a great pitching matchup. A Scooball and Reagan's going at each other.
Scoobs is a legitimate Cy Young candidate.
He is.
This guy is.
Isn't he 6-0? I don't think he's lost yet.
I think that you're correct, actually. I'm not sure. If he did lose, I can tell you that it probably wasn't his fault, all due respect to the rest of the Steiger squad. But yeah, you don't really expect, especially heading into this season, to find a top tier pitching matchup between the Royals and the Tigers. But this is what we've got. Expect it tonight. Both Cole and Scoobs have been phenomenal this year.
Yeah. As for the Rockies, heartbreak last night. They got 2 home runs out of Ezekiel Tovar and another bomb out of Ryan McMahon. Those guys provided all the runs scored, and they led pretty much through this game. They led at the time 2-0. They led 3-2. They led 4-2. And then in the 7th, it all went to hell in a handbasket as the bullpen took over and the Athletics come back and win 5-4. Tough day for the bullpen. Tyler Kinley takes the loss as he allowed a couple hits and a run after Lawrence, kind of had blew the lead there, giving up a couple of runs there in the 7th. So tough night for the Rockies, who, had that game won, lose it at the end, and they'll try and get things right here tonight, again at 7:40 Mountain Time. So once again, catch your Royals on 790 KXXX. Any thoughts on the Rockies there?
No, just that they were playing so well. It seems like just a moment ago, and back to a 4-game losing streak. Rockies fans, I feel for you, but you did get a nice glimmer of some winning baseball there for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, they took down they had the Rangers on the ropes. They took them down, and ever since then, it's kind of been it's gone downhill. That's for sure. All right, on to the walk-off.
A 3-run walk-off home run.
A game-winning walk-off with a walk-off.
His second walk-off hit of the season.
In walk-off fashion, that baby's go.
Tell you what, stuff is happening in college athletics. Yesterday, the Big 12 as well as the ACC voted in favor of this House versus NCAA to we're going to pay the money to pay the athletes the $2.7 billion and
with a B.
Billion. That's right. College athletics changes more in the off season than any other sport. I swear, every single off season, something game changing is constantly happening.
I called it a can of worms. Ross, I think you called it a tube of toothpaste.
Yep, the tube of toothpaste.
It's looking ugly. Whatever you cracked open, whatever you want to call it, whether it's toothpaste or worms or whoop butt, it's all going to come back to bite, I think, college sports, period.
In the long run, I think it's really going to hurt him. The model is turning into a pro-style model, and we already have pro sports. We don't need more. We don't need more pro sports. So, anyway, we'll see what happens in the coming weeks. But the landscape and the way college athletics are done are changing dramatically every single day. It feels like, and it's pretty sad. That'll do it for us today. Thanks again to Jake Stout for popping into the show today. Tomorrow we will talk. We got Bryce Simon on tomorrow talking NBA. Is that right? Yeah,
yes,
Bryce Simon's going to join us talking some NBA. Look forward to visiting with him. And so a full show ahead tomorrow. Make sure you tune in 7 Mountain, 8 Central Time. For Christian, I'm Ross. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow here on the Blitz.